Welcome back to WR Chess Masters Tournament, and I'm here with Anish Giri, who just finished his game in a draw against Andrey Esipenko. We were analyzing this game today with Yasser. Welcome, Anish, and please tell us what happened. And of course, we felt your pain, so I see you are also like not in your best mood, but let's check what happened actually. Yes, so it seemed that you caught him in the opening and by after play, or he tricked himself. So
yeah, I got a promising position, I think.
Yes.
I'm up a pawn. Of course, he has some compensation, so I think the opening was over somewhere here. I managed to, like in this kind of London-ish system, I stole the pawn and I never gave it back.
That's a point. I mean, we were discussing that after the c6 before a5, like you had this bishop b8, right? Idea.
Here.
Yeah, somewhere here. Like if he continues with
yes,
b6
if,
here,
if
yes?
he goes this, then there is bishop b8, rook b8, bishop b5 check. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, so I found it at
This
one
is-
point, yes. And
This
we
is
were
actually
laughing, yes.
winning for white, I think.
Yes,
Yeah.
it's already over, and that's
Yeah.
why I think he spent so much time trying to figure
Yeah,
out
yeah.
what to do.
No, you have to do something else than
Yes.
that. So 96 is possible. He's playing for this long-term compensation, and of course I'm a little bit weird. I've developed my queen ahead of the knights, which is not the way to go. But you know, everything to protect the pawn. And actually, in these kind of positions, very often you've got the structure sort of in the reversed Catalan. You hold on to this pawn, but the bishop very often is on like b2, which is very passive there inside the pawn chain. But here it's kind of outside, making it very unusual. And yeah, it's a very interesting position. Like a lot of fun begins in a 94 variation, f3, e5. I think that's like the most fun. It goes like queen h4 check,
Oh my gosh.
king
Yeah,
goes
we
to
didn't
d,
check this one.
king goes to d1, and then the line goes like here, and you take on g2, rook of 1, and you have many moves here. You can go long castle for example, if you want.
If you want to continue
If you want,
direction,
or
yes.
you don't. The other moves are also fun. So it can get very complicated. And here, knight h5, he's just trying to grab my bishop. He's got a bishop pair, but I'm not sure if that's enough. At first, I thought it's great compensation for black when I saw the position, but then when I briefly looked at it, and the computer kind of convinced me that white is better, so I was thinking, okay, great, I'm up a pawn, I'm better. Maybe it's possible to go more dynamic with g5 here. Because g6 is quite slow, now I get time for a4.
Yeah, but we were afraid that after g5 you have knight h5.
Yes,
or,
yes,
and your
yes,
knight
yes.
is placed so
Yeah,
well.
knight h5, I think the line goes g4.
Oh.
And then you go queen to g5. You target the knight, and I come back. And you have this, like, maybe you can go h5, h4, I don't know, like some weird stuff.
Maybe.
Yeah,
One
some play on the king side.
Yes.
And he played like this slowly, which I was kind of hoping for that. Now, yeah, it's still I neglect development of my knight, but I already developed all my pieces. And I'm up a pawn. But it was an interesting position here. I thought he would aim for b6 plan, which is what he did in the game. Direct b6, I have takes, and b5. This is this typical idea. Yeah, once you get the pawn on c6, it's winning usually for the side that gets this pawn. You often have that with colors reversed. This is a huge pawn. So I thought maybe human would be to go rook b8 to prepare this b6, because after take b5 you have bc. Now there is this x-ray along the b file. So I was thinking maybe he'll go rook b8, and if I make some move, like let's make some random move, he can go b6, takes here, and we get similar position like in the game, and he can choose to go at some point 95. Trade bishops. In the game he started with 95. He didn't see this rook b8 idea. I don't know if it's good, but I just thought it's logical. And here I thought I'm being very clever, because I thought maybe if he gets bishop on c6, it will be hard for me to make progress. Let's say some natural move, some random one, bishop c6. And it's kind of difficult, because I don't really, if I push c4, my c5 pawn will be weak, because ab will happen. If I take, he takes with the b pawn. Now, like, if I push ever b5, my c5 pawn again is weak. If I push c4, my b pawn is taken, then c5 again is weak. So I was kind of looking at this position conceptually and thinking that maybe it's very hard here for white to make any progress. And so I thought it's very smart to take on d7.
You try to avoid it, yes.
Yeah, because now he doesn't get this bishop on c6.
Yes.
And now rook d1. I'm also threatening maybe e4, so he has to move the queen. And now, yeah, I kind of missed queen c6, and I realized now he's going b6 in a very good version. But I was very happy with knight d3, because my original intention was somehow to dance with the knight around to d4. But then, like, this app highlights way too many squares. Yeah. Oh, I can undo them. Yeah. Yeah, I was like looking at such kind of position And thinking about it, and it was very interesting, like because he's got the knight, so he will kind of keep control of the square. I had something similar against Nihal Sarin in CGC, like Black has some compensation in such positions. Especially because he has the knight, so
the c4 square. Yes,
yeah, he's not going to, like, let's say I play like this, he's not going to trade the knights there. He will kind of keep the knight on e5, and if I try to trade it, he will go to c4 and then back, and will double on the c file. Meanwhile, okay, I have this juicy pawn, passed pawn, but maybe black is kind of okay, blockade. Yeah, I don't know if you can claim that it's equal, but at least it looks like a blockade. So I wanted to avoid this. I think what I did is better, because I trade the knight. This was very nice, because now if knight c4, I can go knight d2. And I trade the knight after all. And here after knight d3, I trade this knight. Now in the same position after b6. A lot of arrows there, really. Oh yeah, wonderful. Because you know people like arrows, but I don't. So
you don't watch Nakamura's streams, yes, because too many of them.
Arrows, they're disturbing you. It's just for content. This now is very different without the knights, because nothing is jumping, you know. And what I didn't realize is how good this position is, because I thought, let's say, if something like that happens, I was going to go for c4 very quickly, something like this, and I was very happy that I have c4, because I thought if I don't do that, and let's say I'm stuck with this, now c4 I'm internally pinned, and somehow I was looking at this position. Let's say I make some move, and black, let's say, plays queen b7. Now he stops e4, c4. There is maybe queen c7, and there is some kind of eternal pin. And if b6, maybe queen back, again there is a pin.
Yes.
And so I thought I want to avoid this, so I need to go knight d2 and c4 fast. What I didn't realize is that I can also reroute this rook from d3 to c1.
And then go to
and then do
c1?
the same. And that's what I didn't realize. And that was actually huge, because this is why I didn't win this game. Because if I had realized that I want to do this, now it's a different story, because now if, let's say, we do the same thing, just
yes, just to show
conceptually speaking, it's a very different story, because my c pawn is protected twice, and besides that I can at some point play b6 if I need. And now already, because rook is not on d3, I can at some point go cd, and this probably is already winning, you know.
Yes, yes.
Basically the whole thing doesn't work for him with this rook d1. So this is what I didn't realize during the game, and that's why after rook fc8 I thought about two options. I thought about knight d2, but I didn't like that he enters like in the game on the first rank. Like here, basically my problem is that there is a first rank issue.
And this so
e5. I thought maybe I should be smart and make a waiting move, but then I thought he goes b6, takes, b5, and this thing that I told you about happens.
Again, rook c5.
So I wanted to avoid that, this kind of situation. I wanted to avoid this kind of situation, thinking that I have
Do you
more.
have time here to go rook d1, rook c1 with knight on b1?
Yeah, exactly. I always have time. And what is even nicer is that actually I can go rook d1 directly. And after b6 I can just take and go b5, and now I go rook c1. I just didn't see that rook d1, rook c1 thing.
Yes.
I only thought about knight d2 with the rook on d3. And I thought it's fine. I thought I can go knight d2 here, because I was thinking again, I didn't see what he wants, because here I go b5 and rook c5, I have c4. Yes. I'm in time to go c4, and there is no first rank issue. So it's okay. So this is what I kind of calculated. And I calculated a BCB very briefly. I thought queen c1, knight f1. I mean, there's nothing. And okay, here I just thought knight f1 or whatever. Yes. But then I realized that actually not so simple, because he's got this rook c4, b5, queen a5 thing.
And then again, it's like...
And then I'm losing my pawn. That's the problem. I'm kind of losing my a pawn. Cannot protect it.
Not immediately, but later.
Yeah, and the thing is, I need my knight on d2, and so here I realized, basically, here I kind of made a concession. I kind of realized, so knight d2, let's say, was a mistake. This you can sort of forgive yourself, but here I kind of knew that the best move is probably h3 or g3. because I had a choice to either allow this. Like I didn't want to allow rook c1 because I didn't want to allow some counterplay where my king is a little bit. Like I saw some stuff with queen b7, d4, some rook c3, maybe some f5, maybe knight f3. Like I was thinking about things like that, g5 maybe somewhere. I don't know. I didn't like just maybe some d4, maybe h3, h5. Like I didn't want to allow some counterplay, and my pawns are really far from promoting. I need a lot of moves. So I thought, okay, while also I calculated some stuff with rook c4. Let me remove the arrows again. Something like this I was calculating probably doesn't work, but I was not sure. Maybe it does, and so I was like, maybe g5 include g5 first, and then if g4. So I didn't like this whole thing.
It doesn't look. I mean, black has some chances.
No, I convinced
here,
myself
right?
that this is not great, but of course I felt that this is the way to go because knight on d2 is really well placed. I was thinking also about h3, maybe very smart, because now if you give a check, g3, my king is not on g2, not on this diagonal. Also, there is this move rook c8. Also, I have to kind of deal with some counterplay, and I was a little lazy, but basically what I should have done is, like, the cleanest was this, rook d1. There is no counterplay, and this is just very clean. I mean, this also suits my style, and I
mean, this type of move normally you would have found, right? Like
no, the move is difficult for me, but I think this type of position I can convert because there's nothing happening here.
Yeah.
And if he does the same thing, now it's a very different story because my knight is great on d2, as we have already established. I just needed to cover the back rank. So now here, magically, the rook jumped from d3 to d1, which is exactly what I wanted. But now this is how I get it. And what I didn't realize is I was not thinking about AB, I was thinking about b6. I didn't realize how I can slowly do it. And okay, I don't know how winning such a position is, but basically, just no rush here. I suspect this position is horrible for black in general, because whenever he goes for queen 7, I've got this b6. Yes. I've got that in the bag. I don't have to do it early because I'll lose the pawn. But whenever some action will start with c4 or e4, and then he goes queen c7 to pin me, then I will somewhere throw in b6, and it will all work out. So this was huge. Now, okay, I already realized that things are not working out, and so I wanted at least to get basically why I went for b5 is I was still hopeful. I was thinking we're gonna get this, and I wanted to play this position.
That's what we checked, because if he would have taken immediately, yes,
No, I thought he has to. I thought I calculated till here, and I actually thought, it's okay. I felt like maybe I had more, but this is okay. I will put rook here, and I will go g3.
Slowly, yes. Start moving
I will
here.
start because he will never with queen's on. He will never bring the king here, right? Even endgame is possible. Even in the endgame, while he brings the king here, my knight can do some tricks, some damage. But in the position with queen's on, I thought, given the time situation, he was low on time from the opening. I thought I have very good winning chances.
You had at one point,
yes.
I
have very good winning chances here because I will just torture him forever. He's stuck there. I'll go rook b3, g3, king g2, h4, knight d2. Then at some point I go e4 or not e4, knight f3 or not or back or somewhere I'll go e4. Yes. Something will happen somewhere. I'll trick him. So I was kind of thinking, it's still okay. But then he played a very strong move, which ended my hopes. He didn't take on a4, yeah.
Yes, he didn't take. He moved the rook on b8.
Played
Yes, rook b8. Yes.
Yeah, I saw this. I kind of saw this move way too late. So when I went for this whole b5 thing, I thought rook a4 is forced because I thought, okay, he's attacking my pawn. I thought he wants to. I considered also rook c8 with the idea rook c1, but I think there is just b6. Rook c1, b7, I think. Yeah, so I only considered these two moves. I missed this move, rook b8. And I cannot even protect my pawn because I think rook b5 is an option sometimes. ab and queen a2. So rook b8 was very strong. Now in the game it's not at all the same. What we got basically, now if I go b6, he has rook b7.
Rook b7 and then the bishop can, yes?
This you don't want the pawn on the wrong square.
b6, yes, exactly.
And
yes. Still, we tried here with queen c2.
Yeah, but there's
some variations.
There's queen c4, and it doesn't work.
Yes.
This is a very different story. I mean, pawn on b7 is very different than on b5.
On b5, yes.
And here I was still hoping maybe I can press, but it's very very long way to go, and I missed. But already at this point, I allowed this forced draw with queen d3, bishop h4, which I didn't. I only saw when I played it. But even if I don't, I no longer can do anything because if I go e4, he's got queen d4, which is very unpleasant. Because let's say if I got something like that, I can maybe play a little bit again because of the time situation. But it was good what he did, yeah. Because e4, queen d4, knight f3. If I play, then there is queen c4, and I don't get any ground. I don't have any move, you know. It's if I have pawn on b7, it's very different. I have much more space. I can play rook b4.
Yes.
Like now, it's just not the same because yeah, I mean, I need that space, you know, these extra files, and
it's in any case better to have it on b7, right?
Yeah, because also the rook can never move. Like now, it can, in theory, it can at some point move and come back. Like like let's say if already something e5 d4 happened, and you need to swing the rook, you can swing it. And then b6, b7, b8 is the long. But on b8, it's stuck there forever.
Yes.
And like psychologically also, pawn on b7, like the main thing is psychologically he is feeling under pressure. Now he doesn't feel under pressure. And so here already there was nothing, and queen d3, it allows this nice shot. I actually was thinking maybe to confuse him, rook a3. If queen g4, I have some queen c3. Idea, if bishop f6, I have queen c7. Takes rook a7. This was a trap.
Wow.
So I was thinking, wow, this is very nice.
Okay.
But first of all, there's d4, but also the easiest for him is to just go queen b4. And I don't get queen c3 check, and if gh, it's still perpetual. So yeah, this is just forcing a draw. But already here, yeah, I mean, I was much more hopeful when pawn was on b7, and also he started playing faster, so I couldn't press on the clock, so it's gone.
Do you feel that today here, like Andrey ran away with a draw? Like
it's very common in my games. I very often let my opponents escape. It's part of my job. It's part of my style. I take the goods and I take the bads. Like it happens very often in the tournament already.
Gukesh,
3 times. Gukesh was
suffering all the game.
Also yesterday, Jan was in big trouble at some point. But it's yeah, it happens a lot in my games. It's
how do you deal with that? How you?
Well, it's not so bad. I mean, it could be worse. You have people that are not able to create any chances. Like I generate chances very well, very often, which is very good. But yeah, it's. I mean, it's just the thing is also when you generate so many chances, and I generate them, you know, in a unusual way. Often through preparation, which is extremely complicated. So I get these computer advantages that are not like they're not mine. They're kind of computer generated, and they should be. They're very hard to convert. Because let's say when you start with nothing very often and you build up a human advantage, then you know how, because your whole play before was you had you put thought into that, so you know what you want, right? You know the plan. But now when you generate the advantage with the computer, you don't really know what's the plan. Because the computer plays is like, you know, it's like when they say, for example, when somebody is cheating, like if you cheat for only one move and you cannot play chess, then you do yourself a disservice because you don't know what is the follow-up. Now this preparation is not cheating, but it's similar in a sense that you use engine assistance, right? At the start of the game. So that's why also there are many reasons. I already thought a long time about what's about my misconverting, because I misconvert many games, but this is one thing that people don't think about as well.
Interesting, yes. So because
my advantages are not like not all of them are usual advantages. Very often they are like, for example, this position. When I got from the opening, like, let me see where it is. Like this, I mean, this is not your usual. The computer says advantage, but it's actually very complicated. Very complicated.
Absolutely. For us, it was very complicated as well. Like we saw those difficulties. And
it's like,
you know,
with this kind of pawn sacrifices, like Dubov plays them very well with it's typical Catalan. It's kind of Catalan reversed kind of thing. So these are like computer advantages. They are not so easy, and I also don't understand it so well because it's very complicated. Like I take up quite a heavy load upon myself, and then it's kind of hard to carry it. So it's okay. I mean, I think still was an interesting game, and I must be honest. I missed the Rook D1. He saw it.
He saw it, yes.
He saw. Yeah.
You analyzed after.
Yeah. He mentioned it right away. I was very impressed with that idea. I thought it was very, very often when you are playing on the defensive side, you see like much more issues, right? Yeah. Exactly.
Like you see all this. Sometimes you see ghosts as well. That's for sure.
Yes. But if there is something, you usually see it. And this was not a ghost. It was a real thing. But yeah, it was for sure like some missed chances so far. But you know, you cannot relax in this tournament because chess is very tough. Like you have missed chances, but the next day somebody's coming after you. So you have to always be alert.
The good thing is tomorrow we have a rest day and you will relax a little bit, play some table tennis and maybe visit Carnival. Anish, thank you so much for joining us and all the best of luck for you.
Thank you very much.